All right. Well, welcome everybody. We're very excited for you to be joining us for Science Story Time here at the California Academy of Sciences. Now, before we start, I want to let you know on a couple of things to expect today. There'll be times where I'm going to ask you to turn and talk to a partner sitting next to you. And I'm going to ask you to come back together with a countdown. I'm going to put my fingers up to count down for you. And then also there'll be times where I'm going to ask you to, teachers, to let us know what your students are thinking by using that chat box. Now you can use this chat box as little and as much as you would like. It's under your discretion. So we are excited to start. My name is Jackie and I'm coming live from the California Academy of Sciences in San Francisco, California. And this is an image of our museum where I'm at right now. It looks pretty outside, but what's inside I think is really special. We have a rainforest where we get to observe and look at lots of different plants and animals. We have a planetarium where we get to look at the stars and planets. We even have an aquarium where we have lots of different animals that live in the ocean and sometimes on land, including the animal we get to talk to about. In fact, today we get to read a story about one of the animals here at the Academy, my favorite, penguins. And penguins are a type of bird, and they have many different body parts that are the same as other birds. In fact, I happen to have my penguin friend with me today. So I would like us to look closely at my penguin friend. And I want you to think about, what body parts do you see that's the same as other birds? Go ahead and share out by raising your hand and your teacher can call on you. Teachers, if you want to use that chat box to let us know, what body parts do your students see the same as other birds? Wonderful. Thank you so much for everybody for sharing out. We're going to come back together in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Thank you, everybody, for sharing what you observed, what you noticed on my penguin friend. So a lot of you said that penguins have beaks, just like other birds. Can we make a penguin beak with our hand? We're going to open or close our penguin beaks. We also noticed that penguins have wings, just like other birds. So can everybody make penguin wings with your arms? And careful of your neighbors and flap your penguin wings. Also, we noticed that penguins have feet like other birds. So let's make some feet with our hands. And we're going to waddle around with our penguin feet. We also noticed that penguins have eyes, just like other birds. So can everybody blink your eyes? And then also, our penguins have a stomach and a head that's covered with feathers. Can everybody make your penguin feathers? Or pretend like you have feathers and we're going to clean our feathers. Great job, everybody. So we see that penguins have body parts that are the same as other birds. And we can learn a little bit more about these body parts by reading a story. In fact, we're going to read a story about a penguin who lived here at the Academy and what happened to his feathers. We also will learn about one of the people who take care of these penguins, biologist Pam. So let's go ahead and we're going to read the story by Jean Marzollo. And to do this, let's all of us travel down at the end of African Hall with statues of animals, big and small. There's an aquarium, wide and tall, with real live penguins, 20 in all. African penguins don't like ice. For them, a warmer place is nice. Might be a little hot in there. Here comes Pam with fish in her pail. The penguins are fed twice a day without fail. Pam enters the tank through the sky-painted wall. A hidden door there leads out to a hall. Some of the penguins look just the same. Well, wait a minute. Do all the penguins look exactly the same? Let's take a closer look. Are they the same? Do you see anything different? Let us know in that chat box. You're right. We all see that they have different bands on their wings. In fact, these bands help our biologists tell the penguins apart. So, different colors means it's a different penguin. That's good to remember. Let's go ahead and go back to our story. Wing bands help Pam call the birds by name. So one day, aquatic biologist Pam, observing the penguins, saw one in a jam. Gently, gently, she examined Pierre. His feathers were gone. His bottom was bare. Oh no. Pierre was afraid to go for a swim. He'd get too cold if he dived right in. How can I help you? What can I do? Pam had ideas. Tried the first two. Well, before we reveal what Pam tried, what would you do to help Pierre? Go ahead and talk to a partner sitting next to you. Mmm. All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for sharing how you would maybe help Pierre. We have lots of different ideas that came in on our chat box, like maybe looking and giving him a blanket to help keep him nice and warm. Also, some other ideas were maybe to give him a vest or a jacket. Sounds like we need to keep him warm. Others said we might take him to the doctors and maybe give him some medicine to grow his feathers back. Maybe checking the temperature of the water or maybe putting him in the sun. These are some great ideas. Thank you for sharing. Let's go ahead and go back to our story to see what Pam tried. She tried a heater and the vet prescribed pills, but nothing worked. Pierre shivered still. Can you all shiver? Great. Thanks, everybody. The other penguins grew afraid of Pierre. He looked so strange. They gave him a scare. They brayed at him as he shivered on shore. They made him feel worse than he felt before. Well, when the penguins braid, that's the kind of sound that they make. Can you make your best penguin sound? Do it for 5 seconds. Ready? Go. Great job, everybody. Those are interesting penguin sounds. Well, let's go ahead and listen to what penguins actually sound like. Ready? That sounded interesting. Well, let's go back to our story and check in on Pam. One rainy day, biologist Pam came up with a new idea. Shazam! Looks like she's in the rain while she came up with this idea. What would you use to stay warm in the rain? Oh, a jacket or a raincoat to help keep us nice and dry and also warm. That's a great idea. Let's go back to our story to learn a little bit more about Pam and her ideas. My dog wears a raincoat, she told the vet. Could Pierre wear a wetsuit? The vet said, you bet. Pam and her friend worked day and night to make a pattern that fit just right. Then a wetsuit was made of neoprene, the tiniest one you've ever seen. Carefully, Pam put on Pierre, a wetsuit a featherless penguin could wear. Standing on a rock in his new wetsuit, Pierre the Penguin looked mighty cute. He felt nice and warm and he wanted to swim. So what did he do? He dived right in. Splash! Whee! All right, everybody, your turn. Can you dive into the water? All right, back to our story. Now Pierre stood proud and tall, and nobody brayed at him at all. 6 weeks went by, and then a surprise. Pam could hardly believe her eyes. Not only was Pierre no longer cold, he had new feathers. Observe and behold. Wow! Now warm in the water, now warm on shore. Guess who didn't need his wetsuit anymore? Pierre made a nest with his very best friend. Their story goes on, thanks to Pam. The end. Wow, what a great story about Pierre and his friends and Pam, the biologist, who thought a little bit differently to figure out a solution to a problem. Well, let's go ahead. I have some questions for you all to figure out a new image and see Pierre. So my questions are, how do feathers help a penguin? Go ahead and use that chat box to let us know. All right, to keep them warm and dry. In fact, I happen to have some penguin feathers with me right now. So penguins have 2 layers of feathers. One that are fluffy and warm to help keep them nice and warm. And the second layer is to help keep them nice and dry. All right, so we were able to answer one of our questions. Let's see if we can see that image behind it. My second question for you is, what was Pierre's problem? You're right. He lost all his feathers. And so he was cold when he was in our colony, our group of penguins. Thank you, everybody. Oh, we're seeing more of our picture. Here's another question for you. How did wearing the wetsuit help Pierre? Right. So he was able to grow his feathers back because he was nice and warm and dry by wearing his wetsuit. Thank you, everybody. And our very last question, what helped Pam tell the penguins apart? Right, those wing bands. In fact, we can see some of our penguins in this picture wearing their wing bands. Now, not only is it going to help us tell them apart, but also it's going to tell us if it's a male or a female penguin. So if a penguin has their wing band on their right wing, that's going to tell us it's a male penguin. And if it's on the left wing, that's going to tell us it's a female penguin. So we can learn a lot by just looking at the colors and their which side of their armband it's on. So we got to learn a lot about penguins today, and I wanted to let you know a little bit more about Pierre. Pierre lived here for a very long time, but he actually died about 3 years ago. Pierre lived a very long life here at the Academy. He was 33 years old. Now, penguins, South African penguins out in the wild, they only live to be about 15 years old. So Pierre lived a long, full, and happy life amongst all of his friends here at the Academy. And he is actually one of the oldest penguins that's ever lived in a zoo or an aquarium. In fact, during his lifetime, he had several mates where he was able to have a lot of chicks. Those are baby penguins. And so those are still around, 16 in all. And he has grand chicks, 27 of them, and 11 great grand chicks. So his family is very big and is all over the world in different zoos and aquariums. In fact, I think it would be a great time to visit some of his friends that are still here at the Academy and see what they are up to. Well, it actually looks like feeding time here at the Academy. So one of our biologists, Amy, is feeding our penguins here at the Academy. And I think I was showing you the wrong one. There we go. And Amy is feeding our penguins fish right now. Now, while we're watching Amy feed our penguins, I know we had some questions that came through our chat box that I want to make sure that we answer today. So one of our questions is, what do penguins eat? Well, we're lucky today that we actually get to see our penguins eating fish. Sometimes they do like to eat squid, but our penguins here are a little picky, so they only eat fish. They normally eat capelin or herring here at the Academy. But out in the wild, they like sardines. Can you think of anybody else who likes sardines? People do too. So we had another question that came on through of, do we still have Pierre's wetsuit? And we do. His wetsuit is actually here at the Academy of Sciences near one of our stores. So if you happen to be able to visit, definitely look at it. Now we had another question that came on through of how old was Pierre and when was he born? Well, Pierre was born in 1983. And again, he lived to be 33 years old. And we had another question that came on through of why did Pierre's lose his feathers? Well, we're not 100% sure, but we think because something was wrong with him inside, he got sick, he wasn't able to grow those feathers back. And because he wasn't able to go in the water and have exercise, he wasn't able to heal altogether. And that's why the wetsuit was able to help keep him warm. And then he was able to start getting his exercise. And then his feathers were able to grow back. So we had another question has any other penguins had this problem or has had a wetsuit? And here at the Academy, we haven't seen any other penguins have that problem. And nobody else has needed to have that wetsuit. We also had another question come on through of, does Pam still work here? She actually doesn't. She's moved on to another zoo, and I can't quite remember which one right now. But we do have other biologists like Amy who help take care of our penguins. So one question came on through of what, how long do penguins normally live in zoos and aquariums? So remember, penguins live about 15 years out in the wild, but in zoos and aquariums, they actually can live about 25 to 30 years old. So pretty old. Can you think of a reason why they might live longer here at the Academy or zoo than out in the wild? That's right. More food. Things won't eat them here at the Academy. They also have people to help take care of them. There's no danger here. Thanks so much for thinking about that. So one more question that came on through that we're going to be able to answer today is, where do our penguins sleep? Well, here at the Academy, they like to sleep in their nest boxes, which are actually just in the back. If you see little caves, you might see one of the penguins going back there right now. That's where they make their nests out of feathers and anything else that we can give them. Sometimes we actually give them fabric like this. And they'll make their nests back there, and they usually like to sleep on their bellies. So thank you so much for some of these great questions. I'm sorry we weren't able to answer every single one, but we will be sending out information for you to share more about our African penguins and about Pierre. But I want to thank you all very much for joining us for Science Story Time. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye, everybody.